sure hope everyone's enjoying their December, and it's amazing how time flies. It's been a very fast year for me, since we started last December 6th, but excited about adding the 22 young men to our program and our university. Really excited about the skill set, the character, the backgrounds, the programs that they're all from. A strong credit to everyone in our organization when you look at how you establish relationships in recruiting and how those maintain over the years. Our assistant coaches being very direct and from a physical standpoint, from a characteristic standpoint on what we needed in this class. And then you get them to campus and you show them what Vegas is and what our university is. And it takes so many people to get that done, from our compliance office to strength and conditioning to sports medicine to everything in between has a role in putting a signing class together. And we're certainly excited about this group. I believe that we've impacted our team in a positive way in a number of different roles that, we just had a staff meeting. I talked to our coaches now. It's, this is not the mountaintop for our signees. This is a great step along the journey on the way, and now it's our job to get this group ready to go play and compete and win a championship next year. And that is our goal. That is our standard of what we want in this program, is to get back to the Mountain West Championship game and win it. And this group will help us do that. I think the ability to sign 7 kids in the city of Las Vegas is huge for us. We're just getting started with what we think is going to be a long-standing opportunity for the city of Vegas, for the kids that grow up here that want to be part of our program. And this group of the 7 guys will put a stamp on that, on help leading the way of what that looks like. I'm so thankful for the high school coaches that we've had a chance to work with and develop relationships, not only in the city of Vegas, but across, in this signing class, 4 time zones. And I think the brand of UNLV football is very, very strong. Our university brand is strong, and this signing class will reflect that from all over the country, but we're always going to be very direct about recruiting our city. And the next year's class is really strong as well. And we couldn't do it without the high school coaches, and we couldn't do it without the people that support our program from the great city of Las Vegas. You look at our signing class of the 22, 12 of those young men competed in state championship games in their respective classifications. And I think that's big for a number of reasons. Number one, that means they've played a lot of ball in a number of games. In the state of Texas, it's 15 that you have to play to get to the state championship game. And then, the characteristics and the qualities of high-level winning, what that looks like. Bishop Gorman in our city won the national championship. We've got a linebacker from there that's joining us that we're excited about. So you look at winning programs and recruiting those, and some of those traits will stand out in our program, and that's what we're shooting for. So very excited about this class, thrilled and can't wait to get, we've got 8 of them that will be here mid-year. They'll get started with us in January academically and athletically, and there will be a number of more additions as the weeks go on, but I want to focus today on the 22 high school kids, because you look at the landscape of recruiting and signing day, and for us, we're a high school recruiting program, and we're also going to be very select and very, very direct on guys that we would take that are not high school graduates, whether it's junior college, transfer, 4-year, 2-year schools, on what that looks like. And that will shape up over the next couple weeks as we continue to get through the bowl and what January schedule looks like before we get started with the classes in January. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Coach, how many more players do you plan on signing in the second signing day?
Yeah, it'll be, there's a number of things. If I gave you a number, it would be false information, because I don't know, because of, we can only have 85, when we start school or start practice next year. I would suggest that we'll have some attrition as the days and weeks go on in the landscape of what college football is. We won't be in a position that we keep everybody on the team. And when those numbers present themselves, then we've got lists of guys by position that we think positional needs on what we need to continue to make a championship run. So, there'll be some transfers that we get in, but that'll be after our bowl game and through the month of January.
Specifically, Faith Lutheran, you saw a few Faith Lutheran games this year, certainly. Any thoughts on the kicker from there? It was remarkable.
It's a big time get for us, Caden. His not only his kickoff, his strong leg, long field goals. I think he made a 57-yarder, I believe, to send a game into overtime, and then won the game with another long field goal. So a number of things with that. Number one, he's got terrific talent. Physical skill set for his age is off the charts. We felt like, if not one of the top 1 to 2 kickers in the country. And for us to be able to get him is a tremendous weapon. Obviously, we saw that this year in what Jose Pisano was able to do in the success that he had. And then on a national stage for Jose to be a consensus All-American, I think that helped in the recruiting process. I'm a firm believer if you're a recruit in the city of Vegas and you see what we have done in year one, anything that you want to accomplish in being a college student athlete, we're going to get done here. And Chittenden for us is another example of that. Could have went a lot of places in the country and chose to stay home, and he'll be an impact guy that we're going to count on early and often. He'll be here through spring practice, which will help him and help us.
The class is heavy on big fellas, but there's 8 total. Why not just do what a lot of people do and just go to the portal and get 21 and 22-year-olds?
Yeah, I think, number one, we believe in this systematic approach on developing, at least on the offensive line, those guys. The class that we signed last year, I look at what they look like today compared to what they were when we signed them. They're going to be ready to play big-time ball next year. We feel like the same thing with this class. I'm always going to oversign on offensive linemen, and if we can, on defensive linemen, because I believe still in any league that you're playing in, if you can run the ball, you're going to have a chance to win the game, and it's done up front. So if you can stop the run on defense, a lot of that is your front seven, the structure of what that looks like with your defensive line. You're going to be a better football team competing for championships. So I'm excited about the group that we signed, Coach Weiss and the offensive side, on how they went about recruiting the offensive line group. I'm excited of getting them in here, and I think, the ability to train them. You look at the philosophy of what that looks in your program through winter conditioning, off-season in the summer, the development year 2 in their program. If you've hit on guys in the right way, and at those spots, we feel like we can have a really, really complete football team.
Coach, what have you enjoyed about recruiting in the city of Las Vegas?
Yeah, I think the coaches have all been extremely open. They've been grateful. They've been thankful. They've spent a lot of hours in our building, out at practice, and I'm thankful for that, because the city's got great football, and it starts with really good coaching, and then there's terrific talent in the city. So I think it's a two-way street on relationship building that's been important for our staff. Any chance that the calendar is open in recruiting, our first stop, first day always is going to be our Vegas schools. And that's will continue to prove advantageous for us. And you look at the group this week, I think every coach that we've worked with in recruiting the city has been very, very helpful for us in putting the class together.
How does the talk go with NIL and recruits these days, both from your point of view and from the athletes' point of view?
The one thing, if a player or his guardian doesn't bring it up, then I'm going to bring it up, because it's on the front page of every news article we read. I want to give them fact and real information, not the fraudulent things that are being said at a lot of places. I am a proponent and in favor of NIL. I also understand the reality of what that looks like by position in our sport. It should be widespread on the ability for our team all to gain on the way that the law was written for that. And it was not, the NIL world was not put into play for pay for play. So name, image, and likeness on what that means to us. It's a great opportunity for the city of Vegas to assist and help in that world. Also, there's a lot of still really, really good football players that end up wanting to come to UNLV because they want to be coached by the best coaches. They want to be developed. They want to get a meaningful degree, and they want to play championship football. If NIL is part of that, that's an advantage for everybody. I think in the world of recruiting, anytime that it's only based on NIL, that's probably not a very good fit for my program. Because if you're chasing that, why aren't we chasing being a great teammate, being a terrific player, developing your skill set, getting your college degree? And there's plenty of NIL that will follow if you do things the right way.
You guys added a quarterback just late in the process. How were you able to get that commitment? What do you think really put you guys over the edge there?
Yeah, he committed late. We didn't add him late. We've been recruiting him and knew about him, and it looked at, again, you're trying to project a little bit on what your roster will look like. We needed a high school kid in this class, and he's explosive, very athletic. He's over a 22-foot long jumper. He's got a terrific arm, very, very live, and has got speed and real linear speed. Had a chance that he came on a visit. The days are running together last weekend or 2 weekends ago, and had a terrific time here on campus. He could see the things that we had talked to him about the vision of what this offense is, how he fits, not only with our program, but in the university community. And after that was pretty quick to jump on board. So certainly excited about him, and we're going to be heavy in the state of Texas recruiting, and he will help us in those regards moving forward.
You had a verbal on another quarterback, and then he decided to move on. How easy is that pivot? Like, how does it work? You just have a list of quarterbacks, and you just, all right, next one's up.
Yeah, it changes minute to minute, really. And we've got a ranking system that we have by every position. And I don't know that you can always just hang your hat on, okay, that's our guy, that's who we're staying with. You've got to keep some guys still actively recruiting. So anytime changes happen, hopefully we've continued the relationship, not only with the prospect and his family and high school coach, that we go target and go all in on trying to get the next best one that we think fits for what we're trying to get done.
Coach, Melvin Laster, the four-star linebacker, how long are you in on him? And can you tell us a little bit about this athlete?
Coach Shear's done a great job recruiting him. I've known Melvin, I think, since he's in the 7th grade. So the relationship goes way back. I think he's a terrific player. When he first really got on the recruiting scene, he was 260 pounds probably, ran really well. He cut some weight here the last 2 years and has become an every down player at a high level. He's voted the 6A Player of the Year at that position. His team won the state championship. Just the qualities you look for in the position of what he plays. He's very multiple in what he can play. He's got a terrific football IQ. He's got a great family. His high school coach has been wonderful to work with over the years. And that's the way, when you continue to develop and work relationships, there's a very, very strong connection, and Melvin held true and had a lot of opportunities to go elsewhere, but he understands the production that our linebackers have in the system, the opportunities that he has on how he can play and play quickly. And then Coach Shear, again, every day relationship with Melvin probably was the X factor in ending up getting him to come here.
with the running backs, you're a team that, you know, you spread the carries around, you just had a true freshman who played a big role. What can you tell us about these guys? You think there's anyone that could, you know, see time as early as this year?
Yeah, I think the two high school signees from today, we told them in the home visit, Coach Ford's done a great job recruiting them, that we're counting on them to come in day one and help us. So the mindset of what that looks like on the training from when that starts for them, physically, they're both well advanced for their age. They'll step on campus and physically will look like they can step in and play right away. So the challenge for us is to get them mentally ready to go play, to understand, you know, protections and all the different things that go into how we play offense. But we need both of those guys to help us right away, and that will be, you know, the Greg. Locally, we'll start mid-year, so he'll obviously get to go through our winter conditioning program and spring ball, and so that will help him in the process, and then also, you know, how big summer is now for the development of kids, not only physically, but the mental side of us being able to teach them and spend time with them to get the playbook down.
What was kind of your approach to kind of rebuilding these relationships in Las Vegas? You know, past coaching staffs haven't emphasized recruiting this area.
Well, I think, you know, when we started, you know, Eric Harper and I discussed about how important relationships are in the city, in every area and on all levels. And the only way that you can really develop a relationship is time and effort. And then at some point, trust is developed. And, you know, I think you have to be genuine. You have to give them hope, vision, and belief, but then you better have some validation on things following through with that. And it can't be a one-time thing that, okay, now the relationships, you know, shake and hug and all good. It's every day. You've got to work on those things. And I want Vegas to be, I want there to be ownership with the high school coaches that they've got, it's part of, this program is part of them as well. And I want them to understand that if they help and send us their kids in their program, that number one, we're going to continue to develop them. It's an open door policy for them to come watch them continue to play and develop and thrive in our system. But then also how important it is that anything that they want to achieve, we're going to get done here. And you know, again, as was asked earlier, I think it's a two-way street on, you know, we've got to feel comfortable going to the school. They've got to feel comfortable coming here. And it's the way real relationships work. And you know, there's a lot of times that it might not be when you really get to know somebody and you continue to work, not everything's not sunny and 75. I mean, you've got to work through some things. And that's with any relationship. And there's going to be the kids in the city that we either don't end up getting, they go somewhere else, or we decide not to go on. And I think that comes with the ability to really communicate and, you know, just be open and be honest about the recruiting process and what that looks like. And then also the early identification of young kids. I mean, we had over 1,000, over 1,500, I think, all in all camp numbers this last summer. We had so many young kids that we got to evaluate. And, you know, that wouldn't have happened without the high school coaches, without them helping us get kids here for us to be able to evaluate. And then there's, you know, amazingly enough, there's still a number of kids in the city that have never been on this campus. And, you know, I think it's my responsibility as a head football coach is to help our enrollment numbers, to sell the brand of UNLV, not only to Vegas, but across our state. But, you know, this can be and is, this could be a special place. And, you know, the degrees that you can get at UNLV are impactful. The city will take care of local kids. I've seen that. And it all plays together on how we can continue to have success together.
Did any of these 7 locals come through your camps this summer, or is that more of a future class?
No, every one of them were here. The local kids, as I look through again real quick, you know, we had not offered, up before camp, we had not offered Andre Porter. And then he came, and because he's a great basketball player, and his dad played here, his mom was on the Palm squad here, so they had UNLV ties. And then, you know, the success that Liberty High School has had, and they came to 7-on-7 camp, and watching him run around and all the positions he played, not only on offense but defense, just a big athlete that, you know, we wanted him to come back the next day and come to one of our just individual camps, but he was going AAU basketball, had a tournament in Phoenix, I think, that next day, so wasn't able to make it. But we got a great individual evaluation on him through our summer camps. I think we would have ended up offering him anyway through the evaluation through the fall, but that sped up the process with him being able to come to camp. And that's just one example.
With a lot of these players, they're playing on both sides of the ball. So how do you decide what to offer them as, and the specific example is, I know Damian McDaniel was pretty highly recruited as a cornerback.
Yeah.
And I think you guys were unique in offering him wide receiver. So what goes into that decision, and you don't want to fib to a kid.
Yeah.
And just flip him right away.
Well, I think number one, we always, if a situation like that, we ask, what do you want to play? What do you see yourself playing? Because over my time, I've never really heard a kid say, well, I want to play receiver. It's like, well, you think your best position is at corner. If their heart is really not into it, you may not get the best version of who they are. So I think relationship-wise, number one is really important on having real communication with that. I think also the trust on I think, you know, your skill set fits a little bit better like this, and show examples over the last 25 years of somebody they're similar to that I've coached. I think that helps, and then direction of the high school coach as well. So I want guys to play what they want. I also give them every opportunity to do that. Once they get here, if we get into the program and say, hey, we're short numbers for whatever reason, and think you're fifth team over here, but if you went over here, you might be second team and helping us play, is that something you'd be open to? So it really, you know, I'd like to say defensively I want them all, but then, you know, that's not the way it works in the real world when you see the big picture. So I think, again, it goes back to relationships and being able to have those conversations with kids.
Was that the case with McDaniel?
He was always, for us, targeted as a receiver. And, you know, I look at the other side of the ball. I want to look, if the kid's a point guard, shortstop, whatever it is, I want to see as many clips athletically as I can see them. And that helps our evaluation. And for him, I mean, on both sides of the ball, it's such a great player.
Only 3 California kids in this class, none really from the Los Angeles area, which I know has been kind of a hot spot for UNLV in the past. Is that just kind of a matter of this year's class, or, you know, like you said, you're prioritizing other areas?
Well, we're still, I mean, that area for us, Vegas is number one, and then, you know, nationally, we're going to go and find kids. I think there's terrific players in that area, and this year just hit that, you know, we had fewer numbers. We're going to be in that area very active on building next year's class. So just the way that it fell with this signing class.
This was kind of the first class that you got to really put together, considering you came in right before signing last year. I guess, what were you looking for generally across all positions, and, you know, what was kind of your approach to this class?
I think we've got a checklist, really, physical traits, and then we've got a list of what we call tough questions, and it's more about, you know, I'm certainly excited about this class, and I don't think you'll find any coach in America that walks up today and says, I'm not very excited about these guys. But you look at the qualities that maybe don't show up in the stat line. Okay, do they like the photo shoot, or do they really like a Tuesday practice on preparing the right way to go be the best player they can be? There's some of those things that, you know, again, this is a very, very exciting celebratory day for all these young men and their families. But this isn't, signing day is not the mountaintop. This is part of the journey and the process. So there's a number of those things about toughness we ask about. We talk to everybody in the school that we can, from high school coaches to front desk secretary to assistant coaches to biology teachers, whoever we can, to get as much information as we can about the kid. And that has helped us understand who the prospect is, get a little better feeling of what makes and what motivates them, and then also it helps us when they get here on how to coach them. So there's a number of things in the evaluation system that go into it. We're always going to look, the measurables of height, weight, 40, 5'10", 5, vertical jump, broad jump. All those are great, and we've got a systematic way that we look at each one of those prospects. We'll also look at competitive spirit, and are they a leader on their team? What is their body language? Body language is the strongest language in the world, and when you can piece all those things together and they align with what you're hoping the kid and the player is going to be for the position you need to continue to build your team, and those things add up, then you know that you've got something that will together be a great team.
We haven't, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you run a fairly unique offensive system, so when you're recruiting these players, how do you balance judging their raw athletic talents versus maybe projecting them into some of the idiosyncrasies of, the role they might be playing in the offense?
Yeah, I think if you're a receiver and you can look, we had a receiver over 1,400 yards this year, and we had a freshman running back that led the country in rushing touchdowns. As an offense, we scored more rushing touchdowns than anybody in college football. We had a freshman quarterback that played at a high level. A number of those things, schematically, systematically, you look, and it's hard to take away from those numbers. And, if you're a really good running back, we play with two of them on the field most every snap. So to me, if I'm a running back, which I was, a pretty good one, I'm going to play in this offense, right? If I'm a receiver and I say, holy smokes, they had a guy that had 1,400 yards receiving, I want to go play in that offense. You look at a quarterback that does everything from the RPO world to the drop back world to the rollout to move the pocket. I want to be part of that. So I think you build and can show each prospect, okay, this is how you fit in this system. And, we may look a little bit different formationally, but at the end of the day, when the ball is snapped, this is how you fit, and this is how you can be a big-time player for us. I was assigned with the University of Missouri as a running back. It's a little-known fact. And like 3 days into practice, I got a call, and I went over to see Larry Smith, who was our head coach. He wasn't even really sure who I was when I walked in the door. He said, "Are you Odom?" "Yes, sir." He said, "Hey, you're moving to linebacker." I said, "Okay." I said, "Do I get a vote in that?" And he said, "No, get out of my office." So anyway, short-lived, 3 days, and I went to linebacker, and all played out.
Coach, how does this week only catapult your program getting ready for the bowl game?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, this is our plan on what we're going to be doing every year on this day. We had practice this morning. We had practice at it. It's the greatest time of year that there is, getting ready for Christmas and get to take a team on the road for a bowl site and signing day. A lot of great moments for this program. And there's been things that we've been able to celebrate up to this point. Now the opportunity to try to go get win number 10. And with this group of guys, it's been a fun year. It's I'm proud of them. This is just another day of continuing the build of a championship program. And there's a number of steps and layers on how it happens, and this is just another piece of that puzzle.
How did having a local kid like Jaden as your kind of quarterback help in recruiting in the Las Vegas area this year?
Yeah, he's strong. I mean, with the ability to I can have a certain amount of really messaging with that, but when a player can also do it and proof of what it looks like, I think that validates a number of things that we're going to continue to do in our program. He's a great spokesman and a tremendous leader for us.
We haven't talked about the portal, and to this point, you guys have had a high retention rate. Also, to this point, a high retention rate with the coaching staff. So how have you done this to this point, and what does it say about the program?
I think, I don't have my phone up here, so I've got it's minute by minute. And, a couple years, this is, college football's new now. It's changed so much in the last, few months and 2 years. And I'll start with the coaching staff, number one. Our administration has made it very, very attractive for them to stay here, which is tremendous. And it doesn't happen without that, number one. And I'm very thankful for that. Two, I hope that we have a culture and an environment that they enjoy coming to work every day. That's important. And there's days that are probably better than others. But, you know, we're all on the same page. I think everyone has the opportunity to be themselves, which is, I think, worth a lot. I think they've got the opportunity to coach and develop their position. And then there's a lot of ownership that goes into it for each position coach with that. With the portal, we're going to lose some players, and I hate that, but we're going to. If we don't, we'll be the only team in college football that doesn't lose a player. So we've had some go in. There will be some more after the bowl game, would be my guess. Was really frustrated with it when it first started, whatever. And my wife said, if you don't change your thoughts on this, you're going to get left behind. And pretty true. It doesn't mean I have to like it, but you adapt and you adjust, or you're left into the rearview mirror. So we've got to be very, very proactive. There's going to be things that happen in the portal and transfer that market that you get frustrated with. But I've also learned you better coach, teach, and develop and mentor the guys that you've got. If you lose somebody, you better go be able to replace them. And then you build the team. The roster management every year is going to be so different. And that's the world that we have evolved to in college football. Doesn't matter if I agree to it or not. It's the hand that you're dealt, and you're going to make it work.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.